The thing,
Would we
ChatGPT
kick out?
apparently very recently was announced that they're gonna add internet access to maybe not the current GPT model, but any like they're doing it on the. It's not gonna be like API access, but you're gonna get it on the interface, the web interface. When you search, there's gonna.
Oh, I
have
saw
access
that.
To,
Yeah, I saw
it's gonna
that.
they've already started releasing plugins. So you can like connect it to Wolfram Alpha, OpenTable.
Oh my God,
So it already has plugins to external like third-party services, and now they're also making it so that it's gonna be connected to internet soon, and that's a game changer.
Man.
It's a takeover.
ChatGPT,
Yeah.
man, please just like leave us some jobs,
Dude, and on top of that, they were ChatGPT CEO or one of their, I don't know who it was.
Elon
but-
Musk is one of their founders.
Yeah,
No,
no,
he's
not.
OpenAI's.
Elon is part of OpenAI.
Yeah.
Founders, yes.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
but that's not what I was
Makes
saying. I was saying,
Wait, what? Elon, I swear, has been like denouncing this whole stuff.
No, he has been. He has
He's
been.
been saying how AI is moving.
well, no, okay,
really
this
fast.
is
gonna
this is
destroy
what I was
human
going to,
civilization.
right? There was just very recently the CEO of ChatGPT went to court or went to, I don't know where he was, but he was talking about
Just one-
not like that type of court. Like he was in court about what we should do with AI, and so basically the government was saying like, "Yo, AI is bad. Like it could take jobs and everything." And he was just agreeing. He was like, "Yeah, I know it could. We agree." And what ended up happening was, the government wants to figure out a way to like, release AI in a way that it's not just taking over all of our lives immediately. You gotta
Yeah.
slow the production and release of it. You gotta figure out like limitations on it. But the government itself, like government's full of 70-year-olds that don't understand technology in the first place. So they don't understand how to do this. They want to hire a company like OpenAI to make these like these
Because-
lines and draw these lines in the sand for the
But is it
government.
okay for the government to be this involved in like a private business?
Well, the thing is like
Not
we
even
we,
business,
no, we
the
monitor
industry.
we monitor
Yeah.
internet, we monitor like the government meaning they monitor the internet, they monitor like
Yeah.
a lot of tech. The UK just released, or I think it was like earlier this year, but all mobile devices, or actually all devices, all electronically charged devices in the UK, if they're charged by a port, they have to be charged by USB-C by the end of 2020, or starting at the end of
Really?
2024. Nothing can be released in the
Wow.
UK. And so Apple actually went and was like, hey, we will comply. But the idea is like, the way they'll comply is not by like adding USB-C to iPhones, but rather removing the port altogether and making it MagSafe.
Yeah.
That's still complying because
No,
you're
they're
not.
they're adding USB-C ports to the iPhones now.
No, we don't know that yet. It hasn't come out. The
think
15
they
model
will.
hasn't.
For the new
Well, that's
iPhone?
15. Maybe they will, but the idea is that they only have to do it till 2024. They only have to do it starting 2024.
What's the
So
significance
a
of
lot
that,
of
though?
people, yeah. So a lot of people think that like even Marcus Brownie's been saying like, what he thinks is the next 2 years they'll really push MagSafe. So instead of getting like Lightning in the box, they'll get MagSafe instead. So everyone's starting to be forced to use MagSafe from this year and then 2024. And by the end of 2024, the idea is that if they aren't able to like, if MagSafe has been pushed far enough to where it's in use, then they'll switch completely to MagSafe and remove the charging port anyways. It takes up a lot of space and it makes sense. I personally would not want it to leave because I like value it low key, but it's like something that's highly in contention, removing it completely.
Also, like now, like ChatGPT has gone to a point where like there's different versions of it for different tasks. Like we were talking about this off air, but
yeah.
like there's like Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan starting to develop Index GPT, which literally picks stocks. Like I'm going to find that's literally my job. Like I'm like I should have been a doctor at this point. Like
I'm not gonna
I
lie,
don't know.
Index GPT is exactly like my dream thing to kind of like work on, like the things that actually like.
Thanks, sorry, appreciate it.
well, no, that's what I do with
That's what
quant
I'm
too.
saying. That's
like,
because that's quant.
is
That's
quant.
literally
Like,
quant
yeah.
dev. That's quant dev.
It's
That's
what we all are
yeah.
going into.
like
Yes.
most, if
That's
you're a
literally what
Swede quant dev, you're
quant
working
dev
on
is
the
always gonna be.
systems
Yeah,
behind
I
trading, and then if
yeah.
you're a trader,
Yeah, I
if you're
guess.
working in like
Yeah, that's always been like.
So I guess
that's
it's just
always
like
been the issue.
another market.
Well, yeah, but that's not taking your job.
That's
It
not
dep-
taking
it
away my
depends
job
which
at
side
all.
You're on.
Yeah,
like
doesn't-
quant
yeah.
has been around forever. It's just now, if anything, this is getting rid of the quant jobs. If anything,
If
like-
anything,
no,
yeah.
I don't. I'm gonna be honest
That's
with
the
you.
wrong misconception because everyone's like, "Oh, it's gonna take my job. It's gonna take
It's
my
not.
job."
It's not.
because it'll take out like the small minimalistic
Yep.
tasks,
I
which then you are
disagree.
forced to do all the brute
I
force
very
tasks.
strongly
You
disagree.
still need human compliance to go over
Wait,
big
can I,
explain
issues.
more.
and
can I
You
give,
go, you
can
go,
I give
yeah.
an example of what he's talking about? For example, like when it comes to like finance, right? Like a lot of these banks are using GP or ChatGPT to get rid of those tasks like reordering spreadsheets, making them a lot more organized. Again, those analysts that spend 90 to 100 hours, right? Instead of that, they can now focus their time on actual presentations, actual pitches,
Right.
instead of doing meaningless work
Exactly.
that they
Okay,
don't want to do.
I agree,
right?
but hear me out. How long has ChatGPT been out? How long has the AI revolution per se?
That's the scary part because
Think
of
about how
fast how
ChatGPT
much it's
itself has been out for 6 months, and you can honestly, I think it's a very arguable standpoint to say the AI revolution only started 6 months ago. Yeah, people were working on AIs for years now.
They were
on
only
different,
talking about it.
Yeah. Think about how much AI has been in our news starting from that first release of ChatGPT. That first week where it hit a million, the quickest platform to hit a million
can't
users
believe
ever in human history.
Yeah.
That's wild. And the fact that this much innovation has come in 6 months of ChatGPT being released, think about what it takes in 5 years. The dot-com bubble, which happened in 2001, I think something like that will eventually happen with AI. 3-4 years down the line, AI will be in much heavier use than it is now. There will be a bubble. But think about how much the internet has changed the world. The difference is, internet can only do so much. Humans, the computers that the internet was like being used for, yeah, it took away jobs like, mail carriers or whatever you need to do that like physical interaction, and it put it on the internet. But AI is capable of that higher intelligence work. Like, AIs are capable of the same work that humans can do. There's no job realistically that can't be replaced by an AI conceivably. That's the thing. Doctors are the one.
Yeah.
They're the.
Even
I believe,
lawyers.
No, lawyers can be.
See, the thing is,
lawyers
I
can't
would argue doctors kind of could, but it's
They
just
could.
it's just
Surgeons already are.
They wouldn't though,
Exactly.
Yeah, you
because
need
a
that human.
person
Yeah.
isn't gonna want to ever trust the AI to do that.
But,
That's the problem.
But here's the
They
thing.
could do the job.
Okay,
They could
There's
easily do the
privacy
job.
issues that
Things-
come along with that.
There's
That's the
privacy
problem.
issues. I agree, but lawyers, one for sure can, because
I don't think they will.
No, here's the thing. A lot of the lawyers' job, is like that unique factor, like looking at a case from a different point of view and whatnot. But a lot of the mundane aspects of a lawyer's job will be taken. A lot
That's
of
not what I'm
writing
saying.
reports. A lot of
That's a completely
You
different
clearly
aspect.
have not
That's
watched
help-
Suits yet.
That's helping
My
you
boy.
with your
No,
job.
here's
That's
the
helping
thing.
with your job. That's not taking your
okay,
job.
but anything that helps you with your job can take from your job, and I'll explain why. If you're able to take what takes 100 hours to do this work, and AI is able to do most of it and do 75% of that work for you, and it only takes you 25 hours to now do that work, you don't need as many lawyers. You don't need 100,000 lawyers if there aren't a need for 100,000
my point
lawyers.
is like it's not gonna be like completely like obsolete, right? Because at the end of the day, a lawyer has to appeal to a jury, right?
Yeah, I agree.
A robot cannot do that.
Okay, but the difference is a robot can write you that script and give you the information to be able to do that. A robot can, AI.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right now, if you think about how much ChatGPT can do, given the fact that it's trained on a very diverse amount of data, it is not a specific task bot, right? When you create specific task bots, like think about AI music artists. I'm sure the music industry is like trembling right now. All you need is one person every generation to be a great artist, and you can mix that, change that in hundreds of different ways to create like an infinite number of songs.
I want to talk about the music side of it real quick, because Kendrick recently did like a feature on a Beyonce song, I believe it was, and he kind of addressed the whole AI music.
Oh
stuff.
yeah, there was like a lyric in there, right?
Yeah, so I don't remember the exact lyric, but he was pretty much talking about how you have no reason to worry about AI if you're someone who actually builds content into your music, because you're talking about something authentic to yourself, and that's not something that can actually be replicated. But the people who, like the Drakes of the world, who aren't exactly putting something as meaningful. I mean, I'm not gonna say Drake doesn't put meaningful stuff, because I'm sure he does have songs.
A lot
he
of
does.
Drake hate these
But
last
like,
couple episodes.
but I'm just saying, like, someone who's constantly trying to make something new, constantly addressing things of the times, constantly putting their own experiences into every little bit of thing, and the artistic style of certain things, it can't always be replicated. It's not.
Oh,
possible.
I agree. It's not perfectly replicable, but the difference is that personal twist can come from other places. A lot of what Kendrick might talk about in his music is stuff that people have talked about on the internet. It's not like Kendrick is not the only person facing the same issues as what he's
the
talking
way
about in his song.
the way he says
Yeah,
it
sure,
matters.
of course. If Kendrick writes 10 songs and the AI learns off of these songs, and artists like Kendrick write a bunch of songs, any similar artist that's writing songs in that way and it's talking in that way about their experiences, that's training data for the AI. And once you have that, you have no longer need for that person in the same way.
No,
Yes,
not
it's
entirely.
very different when it comes to art or anything or content or anything that way, because people are always gonna look for like real human connection in that.
Dude,
Exactly.
that's
not
the thing.
something
But you-
that-
okay,
You
there's
can-
one
you
point
can
you're
mimic that.
missing, bro.
We're 6 months into this.
You can mimic it to an extent. Yes, AI is completely context dependent, but all these like effective cues which they're looking for are completely ambiguous, right? There's so many like factors that you have to bring in, like cultural context, historical context, human emotions.
But what he's saying is what he's
That
saying
is-
is like no, but what he's saying, what Nishk is saying is like initially, yeah, that's fine, but once they get that data, they're gonna be able to analyze it to mimic exactly
Dude,
what you're saying.
we haven't even like. Here's the thing about what I think the scary part of AI is that it's not like you don't need humans to consistently be building these new AIs. Once you get a few really good models that are good at finding, parsing, and then training other models, AI can literally. It's like an infinite feedback loop where once you create an AI that's able to do that, you're infinitely able to make better and better content, and it's literally exponential growth on like in terms of that.
That's literally what Tesla is.
That's it's like
what to basically like. Sorry to like kind of
No, you're good,
go
you're
around, but like Elon Musk literally has an AI in each and every Tesla model,
Yeah.
which basically is a chip, and that's where everyone's like, oh, this like Tesla's an automotive company. Why is its stock value so high, right?
Someone watches Kevin O'Leary, man.
yeah.
Yeah, man. How do you know about that?
Kevin O'Leary.
That was like this was like a
It's a
three.
data company.
It was like a it was like a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
A while ago.
Yeah.
But basically, it was like it's a data company.
Sorry, but this is literally the TikTok. I see the TikTok. I see he wearing his Japanese like robe in it.
Anytime someone like literally is just like saying word for word the TikTok, I just have to say it.
It's literally what he said.
Yeah,
It was literally
yeah.
what Kevin, because his son actually explained it to him how like the chip, every mile that a Tesla car drives, it goes back in that infinite feedback loop to Tesla, its model, as well as like how they manufacture the car to constantly be improving the product, right? Which is why its true value doesn't come from the car itself, it comes from the chip.
I completely agree that humans are not replicable at this point with our current and what we envision with AI. Yeah, they're not yet. But think about when the what's it called? The internet was first made. 1980s, late 1980s, or mid 1980s, whatever. That's like 3-4 years ago with AI. Yeah, AI has been around since the early 2000s, but it was basic neural networks. It was basic levels of like binary classification models and whatnot. 5 years ago is when I'd say even the smallest things started popping off. ChatGPT, the first version of like GPT-1 was only made like I think just over 5 years ago.
But
And
I think your points are valid, but I feel like the internet, like jobs were lost. A lot of jobs were also created. Number one.
Oh yeah,
Number
for sure.
two,
But the difference is between what they are. The internet became a tool. AI is more than just a tool.
But that's where I feel like the government or other entities should. come in and stop, right?
Trust me, I believe the government should come in and stop it.
Yeah.
I think limiting AI is very important in terms of humanity's future.
Yeah.
And so I think if AI gets limited, we are in a better position.
Way better
But I'm
spot.
saying if you just let like history run its course right now and don't let humans do anything about AI, the limitation that AI will have is hardware and robotic limitation. And not even hardware in terms of being able to train AI. The hardware is it being able to go and do stuff in the real world without a human being there to do it.
Yep.
But once we
Eventually
reach those
it'll
levels,
get there.
yeah,
It'll
and
get
eventually
there.
that's going to be the limitation.
But you have to think about let's look at like a dystopian future. Like, you guys seen like the movie like iRobot
Yeah,
or like the
yeah, yeah.
Matrix, right? You see futures like that where you see AI take over, and everyone forgets that there's a level of trust. Like, though we want to use AI as a tool, I'm sure if we get to a point where we're like on the tip of AI taking over, humans themselves as a community won't allow AI to take over. Because I know personally, I'm like, I love using AI as a tool. I use it every single day in my daily life, but I don't want it like defining who I am. I don't want it like taking over from my capabilities. Yeah.
I don't think AI is going to take over as it like we see in like these dystopian movies, but the difference is all you need is these AIs to be trained in all you need is this one really rich guy to have the capabilities to do this, and he no longer has the need for workers. You no longer have the need for, like, entrepreneurship changes in its like its whole scale, because now you no longer need those humans. Humans are like the slaves eventually.
But then it's gonna be like a bigger story. Like, are we limiting our capabilities by not stopping AI, but limiting?
You are.
But I feel like it's for the better benefit for civilization.
If the government gets involved, you are 100% limiting the world's capability. Think about how much more productive you would be. It's undeniable. AI will be infinitely more productive than we would be. But we would limit it for the betterment of humans.
Exactly.
You know, but you can't deny that we would be better off as a country.
We wouldn't be better off. Our civilization would be better off. We wouldn't, because a lot of people.
Yeah, as in like
jobs.
human advancement would be better. Human life would not
Human
be
life
better.
would not be better. I'm speaking strictly off of like an economic standpoint.
Yeah. Financially and everything,
Our
yeah.
GDP would go through like way higher.
Way higher.
Yeah,
100%.
until no one has jobs, then it would come back down.
And
though.
speaking back to the job point, I just have to say it's like a basic economic principle of creative destruction, right? Like this is always going to happen.
100%.
But like
the
thing is, like, even my econ professor, we were talking to him about this, and he even said like he was saying like it's not. He's never too afraid of AI taking jobs completely, because he's always said this has always happened. As technology comes up, AI is at the end of the day, you can say this is like nothing we've ever seen before. It's still technology. It's still a technological advancement. Every advancement when it first comes out is something we've never seen before. And
Sure,
so
I
everything's
agree.
always going to have that same. This is just in our lifetime. This is the first time we're experiencing something this groundbreaking. Our parents would have seen the same thing with the internet and phones. They would have had
Computers.
the same feeling. You know, but the thing is with this, it's still going to take jobs. No doubt it will take jobs.
For sure, yeah.
But it
I'll
takes
agree.
out jobs that are lower education. But the thing is, this AI is now going to take out jobs that are considered to be now higher education. Things like people who work in finance or work in CS. Those are the jobs that are higher level and originally displaced the older jobs, you know, when the internet and computers first took over. But now those jobs are going to be taken over. And all it does is it just keeps pushing up the importance of education, because all that needs to happen is now workers and people will have to become more and more educated, more and more specialized in order to find the job that they can do. So there will be new jobs that are created, but they will require way more education to do, because now you see a huge growth in people who are programmers. So that is not as much of like a, wow, you're programming, that's such like a big deal, because so many people are doing it. So it'll start to move again up to like some now higher level field, because programming is a pretty high level pay grade job, but now it's become pretty common because of the shift that computers have made. And so we'll see the same thing with AI, where whatever jobs happen to come from this thing, you'll see the jobs move upwards into that, and with that you'll see like a higher importance on like more and more education on it.
I agree to like most of an extent. The only like slight thing I would say is I think AI also might make us move down in terms of trade jobs can't be taken over by AI. Like you can't
Trade, what do you mean?
trade jobs. Like you can't take over a welder. Like AI,
Right.
welders,
Yeah, of course.
AIs cannot be replaced by welders in
It's
the
the
same way.
technical jobs. The technical aspects of jobs will be taken over. To an
The
extent.
hands-on stuff is limited by our robotic capabilities, and I low-key think robotics are way more limiting right now than our software capabilities. Like we aren't able to create
based
robots.
based on what you said, I have a hot take. I think the introduction of the internet in the 80s and 90s was a lot more influential than AI is.
It is. It's no doubt way more influential.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the emergence of all this
whole
technological
new
creation.
It was a
Technology
way
different
bigger
level.
change. It's
Yeah.
a way bigger
The only thing
change.
difference now is that we have something that can mimic humans.
Human-
we haven't
yeah,
had that.
capabilities.
Before it was
Yeah.
straight up just cutting through technology that people
Well, yeah.
use.
I honestly,
Yeah.
I will go back to your statement and say I don't know if that's a great statement, because I think every technology that has or every big revolutionary change has been in the Industrial Revolution. You could say was without that you would never have the web revolution.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
I think they're all equally as this going
I'm
from
just saying that. I'm
hand
just saying that
tools to,
because AI revolves is reliant on previous technology.
I mean, yeah,
right?
that's how it all works. It all is.
I wouldn't even
previous.
use that. I don't think that's a great reason to back up your claim, but I'll still agree with you. I think it's more just you have to compare what it was before to after. Before AI, the jump from no AI to having AI is nowhere near as big as the jump of
that's
so
having
far.
zero.
We
as
still need to
having
see.
zero internet or computers to having it. That jump is way bigger
Yeah.
because there was absolutely nothing close to that at that point.
Easily.
And AI is kind of underlying foundation is the is the Apple that with the computers all that.
I mean, it all depends on
what.
what happens in the next 5-10 years. I think the next 5 to 10 years are in my opinion, some of
Gonna
the
be the
most
most
critical
influential.
years
It
in
will.
what could be the next century or next
Yeah.
But it's also so unforeseen as to what can happen. We have really there's so many people talking about the possibilities, but none of us know what's actually
know
gonna
what is
happen.
Can we
actually.